and I'm with a company called Innovation Tire. And just by way of introduction, so you kind of get an idea of who I am, I represent a family of companies that focus on keeping you safe on the road. That's the whole idea of this, okay? So we offer companies like Retroband. Retroband is a run-flat system for vehicles, trucks, RVs, Freightliner chassis, things like that, so that on your front steer tires, God forbid there was ever a blowout, you can get the vehicle stopped safely. Next to that is ProTang. ProTang is a fire protection system. And we have actually a couple of examples up here, so we'll make sure you get a chance to see them. But this is a fire protection system that can be put inside the vehicle around the engine, the generators, the areas where fire can happen, electrical systems, things like that, so that, God forbid there was ever a fire, this can put it out and give you that valuable time that's needed to get out of the vehicle to keep you safe. Because the whole focus of this is to keep you safe. We also have two other companies that we represent. One is Fuel Saver USA, which was really designed for that owner-operator and for that small fleet. And it's a fuel card that provides all the discounts throughout the entire U.S., all the major brands that you're used to, Pilot, Flying J, TA, Petro, all the big brands, and all the mom and pops too, that create those big savings that a lot of those really big fleets get and that we don't always get. So we provide that here so you take control of your fuel account. And the other company is Internet on the Go, and that company basically provides high-speed internet inside your vehicle so you can have quality of life. Everything from work, stream, Netflix, whatever you want, however you want to use it, Internet on the Go is one of those companies that allows you to have that flexibility inside your vehicle. What we're going to talk about today is tire pressure monitoring systems. That's the goal here. So just a little background about me. I have had my CDL for about 25 years. I used to be an owner-operator starting out. I trucked across the country, and that's how we got our bills paid. We used to run a truck. That did grow, and we had terminals in Milwaukee, South Carolina, and just south of Atlanta. Sold the terminals, and now that we're in the trucking space still, but the benefit is now is rather than me running a truck and experiencing all the same things, we've taken all of that and turned it into benefits back to you. So we still do travel year-round. So although I'm not running in a truck every day, we're still running in a vehicle all across the United States at all these different events and shows that we do. So today we're going to talk about TPMS and what it is, okay? TPMS is really simple, okay? It doesn't really matter what you've heard or what company you thought, this, that, or the other thing. I'm going to break it down and keep it super simple today. So our discussion will be fairly short and introductory. We're all familiar with the TPMS system, say, on your car. So that little light that goes on that says you have a low tire, right? Well, trucks don't have that in all cases. Some of the newer ones are starting to come out with it. Yet in 2007, the federal government mandated that all passenger vehicles had to have a TPMS system on it. It was required. So everything from 2007 newer has some form of a TPMS system on it. Yet when you get into the big vehicles and the commercial vehicles and the bigger trucks, they don't have it. It's not required. It's almost like it's not important to watch your tires, okay? What is TPMS? It's very simple. A good TPMS system only does two things. That's it. It doesn't matter what the box looks like. It doesn't matter how flashy the colors are. They still only do two things. Two things they do is they monitor tire pressure and tire temperature. That's it. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Those two things. Because the hope is at the end of this seminar, and I'm not looking at my watch to be rude. I want to make sure I'm respectful to the next speaker coming up. But I want to make sure that at the end of this, you find the value in how it best fits you. Okay, I'm not telling you any one brand. There's a couple of really good ones out there. Okay? But the focus is if you can understand what it does and realize how it can be a benefit to you, that's how you're going to find the value. So first we're going to start on tire pressure. Okay? We all know we're supposed to watch tire pressure, especially running the bigger equipment, the bigger trucks. Your tire pressure affects your fuel economy, your safety, your runnability, everything. And we all know this. Problem is like when I was running a truck, when I would get up after my break and it's raining out, I'm not running around with my tire gauge around my trailer sticking every tire. I know I'm supposed to, okay? I know I'm supposed to. But I didn't all the time, okay? And that's when it happens. You pull out, you got a low tire. I didn't know. You get on the road, a few miles on the freeway, everything heats up and bang, it blows. And then you end up with a blown tire. Problem with a blown tire, like you've all experienced, it's not just the tire expense. It's the downtime. It's my time. It's the service call. All those things combined add from one simple tire, it's a $1,500 exchange. I mean, just from one issue. Checking and knowing our tire pressure is something that's really required, okay? A good tire pressure monitoring system will give you an accuracy rating of 1 PSI up or down from reality, okay? So if I have a 100 PSI tire, okay, and I want to make sure that I know what my tire pressure is, I can trust a good TPMS system to be reliable. So if it says 99, I know I'm probably pretty good. If it says 101, I'm good, okay? But knowing that tire pressure is vital to me. Having a TPMS system that monitors it regular. The really good ones will monitor your tires every 6 seconds. Well, think about that. Okay, I've got a little thread-on cap that goes onto the tire. That's the monitor. All you're doing is threading it on. And it sits right on your valve stem. That's all it does. It's tiny. It's the size of a dime. Okay? And it's reading back to me up in the cab my tire pressure. What you're seeing on the display, just so you understand what you're looking at, is the 102 and the 68. Those are my 2 front tires, okay? And in this depiction, the 102 is a good tire. My 68 is definitely a problem, okay? The tires you see below that, that's going to be a set of dualies. My drives, below that, showing like just a single axle tag, okay? You can add more tires. You can have dual tags back there. Most systems can do 18, 20, 22 tires. So you don't have to worry, they can handle those. But in this depiction, what you're seeing is that 102, I'm seeing my left front tire, and that tire pressure is being checked and read every 6 seconds, no matter what I'm doing. Doesn't matter if I'm driving, stop, standing in traffic, sleeping, I'm on my break, I'm doing my 30-minute walk around, doesn't matter, I'm fueling up. It's checking that tire pressure every 6 seconds. And a scenario that I've been in is, you know, we would pull into the scale house. We had to shut down for the night. So we'd pull in and rest. What I didn't realize is when I pulled in, there was some debris on the ground. So we pulled in and parked and shut down, pulled the blinds down. We're done for the night. When I got up in the morning, I turned on my TPMS system. One of my rear tires was already, it just lit up. It said 44 pounds. I'm like, how do you get to 44 pounds overnight? I've been sleeping for a few hours. What happened was when I went back there to go look, you could just see the glass on the concrete. But I didn't see it when I pulled in, and that was because it was raining. So the road was already shiny, and I didn't even see the glass. And a piece of glass pierced right through that tire and just let the air out very calmly as I slept. Had I not had a TPMS system, it's definitely going to blow. But I was able to sit right where I was, stay safe, which is my key. And the other one is because I got to control the situation of that bad tire, I also got to control the cost. So I got to lower the cost to get a tire repair. It was not an exorbitant, emergency fee right away. So it was something that I was able to control. Once I can control it, I can mitigate the cost. So it gives me that alert, and then I'm not stuck sitting on the freeway creating even more danger for myself or anybody else around me. I mean, that's a key. We're all trying to stay safe on the same roads, and that's really important. So when you're thinking about tire pressure, we want to make sure that you're always knowing what your tire pressure should be. You're always monitoring. You're keeping them where they're supposed to be. All tire pressure monitoring systems that are of quality from a quality company will follow that curve up and back down again, because we know the tire pressure is going to increase when you're driving. That's normal. That's what's supposed to happen. So you're not going to get false alerts, and you're not going to get false alarms on that. It's supposed to go up and down that curve. So you might see a 100 PSI tire when you're doing 65 miles an hour down the road. Yeah, it might go up to, 122, 123. That's normal. That's not bad. That's very normal. If you're in the heat of Arizona, you're running maybe even 60. You can see it go up to 130. It's not a bad pressure. Tires in the United States are rated to be much higher than what we see them. A 100 PSI tire is rated at a blow ratio of over 175 PSI. So be confident that the tires that we use, brand for brand, they're all basically good, but all tires do need to adhere to a standard to be utilized in the United States. So when we talk about tires, you know, we all love our brands, whether it's Michelin or Firestone or Goodyear, and I like them all. But all tires to be manufactured or imported or used on the roads in the United States, the DOT does mandate certain specs and standards that must be met so you can have the confidence to know that a TPMS system watching that tire will meet those same guidelines for you to make sure that that keeps you safe. The other one we're going to talk about a little bit is heat. Why is heat such an issue? I mean, when I was growing up, nobody ever said to me, check the temperature in your tires. It didn't matter. I never even thought about it. But I'm going to give you a quick illustration, and I want you to just think about what I'm saying, okay? So tires are made of rubber. Okay? Rubber's a pretty good compound. We've been using it for years on tires. What happens to rubber as it warms up or heats up? Well, it's rubber. It can stretch. So think about it this way. Take a tire, run it 65 miles an hour down the road, and you just think about that tire going round and round and round at 65 miles an hour. And for whatever reason, that tire starts to warm up, 120, 130, 140, 150. It hits 160 degrees on the inside of that tire, and that tire's going 65 miles an hour down the road. Once it starts to creep past 160, something happens to that rubber. It stretches. It breaks down from the inside out. You won't see it. If you pull over and look and go, where's the damage? You're not going to see it because the heat's on the inside, not on the outside. I know a lot of guys that like to walk around and they'll do this one. Yep, I'm good. I always like that because, well, your hand's not on the inside of the tire. It's on the outside. Our sensors, when you're checking temperature, are on the inside where it matters, okay? So if you walk around and touch your tires, they should be warm. That's normal. I bet you there's not a person in here who says, whoo, boy, that just about burned my hand, okay? It doesn't happen that way. But at 160 degrees, as that tire's doing 65 miles an hour going down the road, that tire's going to start to open up. And you just think about that really valuable commodity we have called a bead, and it's holding on the inside of that tire air. What do you think's happening as that tire stretches, as it stretches, and it's giving? When that bead breaks, okay, it doesn't go like this. Psst. It doesn't do that. When that bead breaks, it goes bang. That tire explodes as the air just verticals out of it in every way. And within a half a second, the entire weight of that rig slammed down the rim on that tire. And what do you think it just did to that tire? It shredded it. And it wasn't because maybe it was a bad tire, it's because it heated up, okay? The best depiction I can give you is an experience that I've had. I like to use my own examples as stories so that you guys all know we're all flawed. So I just show mine to you. So if anybody's ever been on the 40 in North Carolina, there's a 6% downgrade. And so we all know when we're in a truck, slow down to 50 miles an hour. We all do the same thing. We check the brake, make sure. Downshift, slow down. Please let us get to the bottom. Get all the way down there. That's the whole goal, right? So I was driving an RV at the time, so I was only about 54,000 pounds. I wasn't as heavy, and it was a lot more relaxed. So as I was going downhill, I set the brake and set the Jake brake, and I slowed down to 50. 1 mile, just 1 mile, okay? Think about this. I'm doing 50 miles an hour. I'm going downhill. I am not touching my brake because I don't have to. My Jake brake's holding me. So I'm just sitting there relaxing. I'm good. 1 mile down the hill. My TPMS system lights up and it says 164 degrees on my passenger side inside dual tire. The moment it lit up, the passenger that was with me, she said to me, she goes, inside dual over 160 degrees. My brain immediately told me, I have a problem. I need to get safe. That's all I know. I'm not picking up the monitor, sitting there trying to find the problem, and geez, I wonder what's going on there. No, because when I stop, the problem's still going to be there. It doesn't go away, okay? I quickly was able to slow down, downshift, get over to the side of the road. It took me half a mile to stop. By the time I stopped, my tire was 170 degrees, actually 171. And I'm like, I don't get it. I've got a great rig. Everything's working. I've been driving for 4 hours. There's no problems with my rig, except for one thing. What did I do at the top of the hill before I started to go down? I checked the brake, didn't I? When I checked the brake, it didn't release all the way. It held, which means the brake was creating friction. Now you think about that, what I just said. Imagine a little bit of friction, not enough to lock up the tire. I wasn't dragging it, I wasn't skidding, but that friction, okay, went from the brake pad through the air to the rim, which is a half an inch thick. Through the rim to the air inside the tire to change that to the sensor that's sitting there. How long does it take to go 1 mile at about 50 miles an hour? About a minute 15, maybe? Minute 15 seconds or so? In 1 minute and 15 seconds, I went from no problem to critical problem that fast. Anybody think that I would have made it to the bottom of the hill? I still had 2 miles to go. Because remember, anything above 160 degrees, the inside of that tire, it's degrading and falling apart. There's no way I make it to the bottom of that hill. No chance. Somewhere in that range, that tire would have let go, popped the bead and blown it, and my rim would have shredded it right off. Now I'm on the side of the road, I'm unsafe, I'm putting myself in danger, all for something that I can prevent. So I did prevent that. It lit up. I was able to move over. Fortunately, I was able to readjust the brakes. I sat there for about 40 minutes while everything cooled down, just so I could get everything down about 140 degrees. I knew I was safe. I got back on the road, finished going down the hill. We did have the tire inspected later, but I was able to control the situation to keep myself safe. A TPMS system like that, okay, think about that. I might have bought that TPMS system for, say, we'll call it $1,000. Okay? Maybe I spent $1,000 on it, okay? What do you think that one event did for me? Just that one. Probably saved me $1,000 or $2 right then and there. Every moment that a TPMS system can save you, in other words, say, hey, you have a low tire, air it up. Hey, take a look, this one's going down. Every time that a TPMS system can save you, that's money you didn't have to spend, that's profit you still get to keep. And that's all for a single investment that you can take from truck to truck to truck. You don't have to give it up. If you're an owner-operator or one-man show and you're upgrading, you take that investment with you. Put it onto your new truck so that you're protecting yourself as you go into that next vehicle. The most important thing, okay, is that we're all trying to get from A to B so we can do the most important thing, which is make a little bit of money so we can put it back on the kitchen table. I mean, that's what we're doing. Okay, when I was running, I would run from Wisconsin all the way out to LA. And my only goal from the moment I pulled out until the moment I pulled back was to just go home and see the kids. There was not a moment in there that I got in my truck and went, I wonder if I could blow some tires this week. And, maybe we won't be able to afford some groceries. Let's do that. Let's blow some tires and have some fun. Nobody does that. We're looking for the tools for our trade to make sure that it keeps us safe, keeps us on the road, and gives us the best ability to stay profitable and do everything that we're doing, okay? TPMS systems come in a few different varieties, okay? You can, as you look on the screen, the one on the left, it's a little more of a premium system. You can see 22 tires all on one screen. It's really fancy. It'll also do a cell phone. Really nice, lots of features, okay? The one on the right, you're going to get a little more simplistic view. It's a little smaller monitor. Still does 20 tires, for example, okay, as an idea. But instead of being all on one screen, there's 2 screens that go back and forth, which is okay. It's not bad. All of these systems will be able to give you what you need, which is keeping an eye on your tire pressure and your tire temperature, because that's the entire goal here. Can you go and buy these on a budget on, say, Amazon? Yes, you sure can, okay? Here's what I caution you, okay? No matter what you buy, make sure the company has a great reputation, and I mean great, because think about what you're putting your money into. You're putting it into your safety. So yes, you could buy a system maybe for $150 somewhere, but realistically, is it a good system? Is it well rated? Is there good customer support behind it? Is it award-winning? Does it have a lot of comments that are going to give you the confidence that your money that you're spending is going to deliver you the end result that you want? From my experience, I can say this with a lot of confidence, okay? For example, if you're doing a truck with 10 tires, okay, you should expect to pay around $500 for that system. Okay, I wish we could be cheaper. I wish I could find systems that worked for less money, but the reality is of all the different systems we've looked at and tried and worked with, most of these have either no customer support, they're coming from somewhere outside the US that I have no idea what they are. We can't figure out either how to program, how they work, or they only work for a little bit and they just go bzzz and they stop working. There are a few companies that build TPMS systems here in the US. They're easy to use, they're well supported, they have great warranties, and good customer service. That's what you want. You want to make sure that when you're buying something like this, you've got somebody that you can work with at the company. When there's an issue, you can get it quickly addressed, and you can have the confidence and the reliability of that product over the history of years that they've been doing it, that you can see and research, that you know this is a product that you can buy and count on. That's the key behind all of this. So when we talk about making sure that you get a good TPMS system, you've got something you can count on, do your research, okay? You know, we are here and we do have a booth here. I'm not selling you any one system here. This is general knowledge just to make sure that you can find the one that works best for you. After this, you know, go to the truck show, go through the vendor booth areas, and do some looking. Spend some time. They'll all be on display. You can touch them. You can pick them up. You can push the buttons. And you can put it into your application. Because remember, trucking's different for everybody. You know, a dry van guy is not running the same as a flatbed guy. A day hauler is not running the same guy that's running over the road or, you know, long haul, or he's out for 3 weeks. So in this world of trucking, as we walk around, none of us are the same. So it's not one system fits all. You got to find the right thing that fits you in your application. And if you're that owner-operator, you'll find that. If you're a fleet operator or you're running 1, 2, 3, 5 trucks, whatever it is, you'll find a system that fits your application. Because remember, everything that we do in trucking, okay, we can look at all the fancy lights and all the bells and the whistles and the chrome and everything shiny and clean. What does everything sit on? Tires. Everything rides on the tires. So if everything rides on the tires, all the chrome, all the pretty, all the nice stuff, it's all riding on it. That's the most important thing that we've got to pay attention to 24/7 to make sure that we're staying safe so we can get from A to B. So as I close up today, what I want to do is I want to make sure that you guys have a pretty comprehensive understanding. It's not a long presentation. I'll stick around for some questions afterwards. But TPMS systems do 2 functional things, pressure and temperature. They monitor every 6 seconds. You want to make sure you find something for that rig that keeps you safe. Does that make sense? If you got any questions, I'll take any for a few minutes. So I want to make sure we let the next folks come in. In the back, yes, sir. So it's a great question. And just so everyone heard, what he asked is he's got a few different trucks and trailers. He wants to know is can he match truck and trailer differently? Unfortunately, the answer is no, because each sensor that's programmed, say on a trailer, has to match back to the same sensor in the cab. So could you do it quickly and reprogram, say if you're running super singles back there 4? Answer is yes. Doesn't take but maybe 5 minutes to reprogram 4 sensors from any one trailer to a head unit that you have up in the cab. So yes, typically, if you're doing a lot of trailer swapping, they're monitoring just the truck because it does get to be a little cumbersome for folks, and they get a little frustrated about reprogramming and repairing up sensors. If you're running one truck, but you have, say, 2 trailers or maybe 3, a little bit different because then if you're only running a couple different trailers, you can program all of them at one time. So you have all 3 programmed now on the head unit, and you can select which trailer you want to connect to on the display. So technically, you could have a choice of 3 trailers with 1 truck. Does that make sense? So then you could just turn the one on you want, and the other ones wouldn't activate. But you don't always have just a selection of 3 trailers, but just to give you an idea. Any other questions? If there's anything else afterwards, please let me know. And come out and see us in the vendor area. Thank you very much.